Hello and welcome to another edition of Robbie Reel's Vinyl Picks. In this episode we are picking a vinyl at random, and today we have selected the Likely Lads theme by Highly Likely. So let's get a bit of background before we review the vinyl. The Likely Lads started in 1964. The show followed the friendship of two young working class men, Terry Collier, played by James Bolam, and Bob Ferris, by Rodney Bewes. It was set in Newcastle upon Tyne in the 1960s. This ran over 3 series and successfully had 20 episodes. The series became a staple for BBC Two during the mid-60s, and shortly after, in the 70s, a sequel would follow. This was entitled Whatever Happened to the Likely Lads. This started on the 9th of January 1973 on BBC One. This time there were 26 episodes over 2 series and a Christmas special. It would continue the same principle as the earlier series. This time Terry Collier, played by James Bolam, was in fact out of work and struggling to find his feet after returning out of the army after a 5-year hiatus. However, for Bob, he had kindly moved on. He was planning to get married to his long-term sweetheart from school, Thelma Chambers, much to her annoyance that Terry was back on the scene. This followed along the principal part of the series until Bob finally married Thelma, and the second series looked at how married life was affecting Bob and how he was a different man once he'd become married, and he wasn't just one of the lads. This followed in 1976 with a feature film. Like most comedies of its day, it would have a full-length feature production. This would follow the lads going away on some caravan trip and vice versa, getting into all sorts of trouble with married women, whilst Thelma and Bob's relationship was in crisis.
You know what it means. You understand, my love, don't you, Thelma?
Oh, please!
It wasn't my fault, Thelma. It wasn't my fault.
Sadly, there were no plans to revive the series due to an ill-fated dispute between Bolam and Bewes shortly after the film had gone into production. We'll say no more about that. So let's take a look at the vinyl itself, the theme tune to Whatever Happened to the Likely Lads. The theme tune was written specifically for the programme, written by Mike Hugg of Manfred Mann and Ian La Frenais, who was one of the writers of the programme. Together, in the song, they decided they wanted to capture all the elements of Whatever Happened to the Likely Lads was all about, capturing the essence of Newcastle in the 70s and how the parting of the ways had really been a strain on both of them. Have a listen to this sound clip from the original vinyl. What you're going to hear here is the typical chorus, but you're also going to hear a verse from it, something that isn't present on the actual TV theme, which you just might want to hear.
There was a time when time didn't matter, only the time of day. And living was living in hope, which would never pass away. Oh, what happened to you? Whatever happened to me? And what became of the people we used to be? Tomorrow's almost over. The day went by so fast. It's the only thing to look forward to, the past.
The song itself wasn't an initial big success on the charts. It spent 4 weeks on the chart, only managing to get to its highest position of 35. And whilst it wasn't a big success, and it still remains one of the most prominent and memorable theme tunes for a comedy, even to this day. Until next time, happy collecting.